Most coaches fail in business not because it's hard, but because they think it's going to be easy. If you're a coach, if you're a health coach specifically, and you want to learn 3 principles to succeed in business, then be sure to watch this video now. Hey guys, what's going on? Yuri Elkaim here from Healthpreneur. And in this video, as I mentioned, I'm going to show you 3 really important things you need to know about building a successful coaching business. Whether you're in the health space or you just came across this video and you're a coach, either way, this is going to serve you tremendously. So here's the thing, is that especially if you're starting out, there's probably many things to consider. You might be confused, you might be overwhelmed, you might be watching this video and then 10 others afterwards, hopefully all from me. But listen, I'm not delusional. You've probably seen stuff online. You've probably consumed information. You've taken a course. You've seen one person's webinar, someone else's ad. You've taken some person's course. A lot of information is out there, and it's a blessing, but it's also a curse because we have more information than ever, and we are starving for clarity. Clarity, right? It's very tough to move forward in a state of uncertainty, and it's challenging, right? So in this video, I want to share with you 3 things you need to know so you can make more money, help more people, and have more freedom. Does that sound good? Okay, so first and foremost, one of the things I want to share with you is actually going to be on the screen here, and that's not it, but that is it right there. Okay, so this is something I share with all of my clients, not necessarily in this exact same fashion, but it's essentially extremely important for you to understand. There's a terrific book by Seth Godin called The Dip. If you haven't read it, please do yourself a favor and read it. What I'm about to share with you is a combination of that as well as another concept which I cannot remember the name for. Anyways, there are 4 stages to anything, embarking on anything. So the first one is when we get started on something, we're like super pumped and we're super wet behind the ears. And this is known as uninformed optimism. Everything is going to work out amazing, right? Oh my God, this is going to be the best thing ever. Everyone's going to buy my thing. Everyone's going to want to work with me. And that is the initial excitement that gets us into business, right? Which is important. However, reality then sinks in and we embark on whatever business model we're embarking on. And the next step, which we all go through, by the way, this is not uniform. This is not, immune to anyone. Every single one of us goes through this. Okay. So the next stage is informed pessimism, which is oh shit, this is hard. This isn't working out as I thought it would. Not everyone's buying my stuff. No one's coming to my website. People say no to me on the phone. What's going on? I thought this is the best thing ever. And now, this is where the rubber meets the road. And this is when most people give up. So we hit a point at the bottom here, which is this deep part called the valley of despair. And listen, here's the funny thing about business. I was actually speaking with a client about this yesterday. Sometimes we think our valley of despair is here, but the reality is that it actually might be a lot lower. So we don't necessarily know when the valley of despair is. And here's the thing, it may occur several times. Seth Godin refers to this as the dip, okay? So the valley of despair is where it's like, am I even meant to do this? Maybe I'll just give up and do something else, right? Maybe I'll just go get a job, or I'll go back and, sell hot dogs on the street or whatever I was doing before. And this is that moment where we have that crisis where it's like, what's the point of all of this? It's so hard. Can I do this? And all this mind frick, right? All these limiting beliefs kick in, this self-doubt. And this is the point where most entrepreneurs give up. And this is why statistically 95% of small businesses fail in under 5 years, because every single one of us hits these points. Like, you cannot skip one. You have to go through this path. The thing is that not everyone is able to make it to the other side. But here's the cool thing. If you do, okay, if you get through that valley of despair, what ends up happening on the flip side is now you have what's called informed optimism, which is, okay, I understand the reality of what I'm in now. I understand the data more. I'm making sense of the numbers. I'm getting a better handle on how this whole thing is going to work. And I think I can do this. Yeah, you know what? Like, if I really plug in, I can do this. It's going to be hard. I'm going to have a lot of ups and downs, but I know a little bit more of what I'm getting into now. Okay. And then finally, if you continue on that path, you will achieve success. So the cool thing about this is this is the fun part about business, okay? Is a lot of people want to know, like, how do I stand out? How do I, separate myself from every other coach on the planet? Number one, most coaches, it's actually hilarious. There's a lot of business coaches out there teaching business when they themselves have not built a business. So I don't want to blow my own horn, but if you know me, I've been online since 2006. I've built multiple businesses to 7 and above figures. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been through this valley, these ups and downs, many times. And it's hilarious because longevity matters. Longevity matters. We have clients that work with me now who followed me 10 years ago. There's a lot of value in that. And, if you had a good month and now you're a business coach teaching other people how to build a 6-figure business, you got to look in the mirror because it's a little bit shady. Just saying. So here's the thing, is that you become more valuable when you get through the valley of despair and you achieve success. And the reason for that is that very few people, if we look percentage-wise, let's look at scaling a mountain. Let's say this is Mount Everest. How many people start at the bottom? Let's just call it 1,000 people start at base camp. How many people make it to the top? Let's just call it 10, relatively speaking. Even if it's 50, whatever the numbers are, it doesn't matter. There is always fewer people at the top. Let's look at mountain climbing as an example, mountaineering. Oh, uninformed optimism. I'm going to scale. I'm going to climb a mountain. Kilimanjaro is a great example. I've got a friend who climbed Kilimanjaro. I think it's 18,000 feet. He says it's one of the hardest mountains to climb because people don't realize how hard it is. It's only 18,000 feet. You can hike the whole thing. However, a lot of people develop altitude sickness because they go in uninformed. And then they hit that oh shit point where they're like, I can't even think properly. I have to go back down to base camp. So a lot of people embark on things in life, whether it's business, weight loss, parenting, getting in shape, with this sense of uninformed optimism. And it's immature, we'll put it that way. But it's okay. If you're willing to stick with it, you're going to go through the peaks and troughs of this process anyways. Just understand that not everyone is going to make it to the top of the mountain. And because you have made it to the top, there's 10 out of 1,000 people. Things that are more rare are more valuable. Gold is valuable because it's rare. If you make it to the top of your marketplace, you are infinitely more valuable than someone who just came in and who's probably not going to make the journey because it's hard. You become valuable because it's rare for someone to achieve the level of success that you have achieved because you've gone this path. If you think of parenting, bodybuilding, the stuff I talked about before, it's all the same stuff. Getting advice from a parent who has had 4, 5, 6, 7 kids is probably going to be more valuable than getting advice from a parent who has 1 child. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a single child. I'm just saying having 7 kids is a little more challenging, right? There might be some more perspective and wisdom there in different ways. Someone who has achieved amazing physical transformation probably is going to give you some more advice, better advice than someone who worked out for a week and then stopped because they got muscle soreness. So this is the first thing to understand, is that nothing remarkable is easy. Let me repeat that. Nothing remarkable is easy, and building a great business is a remarkable feat. It's not easy, and if you think it is, Just tear up the certification paper, just go back to work for someone else, okay? I want to be honest with you because the last thing I want to do would be to say like, yeah, you can do this. I don't know if you can do this. I don't know, right? Only you know. So that's the first thing. Second thing, and please pay attention to this very closely. Never, and I repeat, never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever take advice from anyone who has not done what you want to achieve. If you're asking your spouse for business advice and your spouse works for someone else, like they're a bank teller or they work in a corporate job, that is the worst possible person to ask for advice. They have not built their own business. And you've seen this all the time. I've seen this all the time. Let me talk to my spouse to see what they think. I don't give a shit what your spouse thinks. Your spouse has not built a successful business. Why would you ask for their feedback, their opinion? It matters zero, other than, honey, can we afford this? That's it. They're going to tell you they have zero context of what the journey is about. They have a different mindset, right? They're probably saying, hey, you probably shouldn't do this. Why don't you get a safe job, a secure job that you can never get fired from, by the way? Yeah, okay. So never take advice from people who have not done what you want to do. Would you ever, ever take advice on how to climb a mountain from someone who hasn't climbed a mountain before? And specifically that mountain? No, right? Like, why would I ask Joe Blow across the street what he thinks about me climbing Mount Kilimanjaro if he has never climbed Mount Kilimanjaro? It's ridiculous, okay? So if you're building a business, you're going to come up with against a lot of naysayers. A lot of those people are going to be very close to you. The person you sleep with, I swear to God, your spouse, in a lot of cases, you may think they're supportive until you're asking them about investing in your own business. And then the rubber meets the road. Well, I don't know, honey. Like, it sounds like a lot of money. What if this doesn't work out? Blah, 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 blah. Okay? These people will kill your dreams. You're better off leaving them. I understand that's a very, very harsh statement, but I'm going to say it. The other thing too is be very wary of getting coaching from coaches who have very little track record. Okay, so as I said before, there's a lot of coaches out there who anyone can become a coach. You can have a good month in business and all of a sudden like, wow, I made $10,000. All of a sudden I'm equipped to help other people make a six-figure business. No, you don't. You do not have, it's a big responsibility to coach people and actually help them with their business. And if you ever have that doubt in your mind of like, am I good enough? Well, you're probably not. And you need to go back to the drawing board and help yourself get to a point of pseudo mastery where you can actually help people without a shadow of a doubt. Because if you're coaching clients, you should be charging premium prices. And if you can't charge a premium price, it's because you don't believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, it's because you're not good enough. I'm not saying you're not good enough as a person. I'm saying you're not good enough in your area of expertise. Now, the cool thing is that most health professionals that we work with have been in school for like a third of their life. They know their stuff. They've worked with tons of clients. And yet there's still self-doubt issues. Like, you have to understand you're so far ahead of where most people are with respect to their health. Understanding like drinking a couple bottles of water a day is probably a good thing. The general public doesn't understand that, but we take it as first language because it's so close to us. So we tend to undervalue our own value. But aside from that, be very careful of who you take advice from. You need to be working and getting advice from people who've been there and done that. And there's a lot of talk about, from smart people who say, don't take advice from a millionaire. It's very easy to make $1 million nowadays. You should be taking advice from a billionaire. And it's the same thing with this. Don't take advice from someone who runs a coaching business and they're the only person in their business. They don't have a business if they're the solo entrepreneur. You're better off taking advice from someone who has been in business for many, many years, who has built a substantial team. Because listen, like, check this out. If you don't want to coach clients one-on-one for the rest of your life, why on earth would you work with a coach who doesn't even have a team around them? They're essentially teaching you the model they can't even escape, right? So they haven't figured out how to move away from one-on-one because they're the only person in your business. Why would you work with that person if you want to grow beyond one-on-one? Now, I'm not going to, again, I don't want to toot my own horn. We have a team of 25 people, okay? I love coaching. We have an amazing team of coaches, and we help our clients scale beyond themselves. Now, learning from me would make more sense if you wanted to do that versus learning from someone who's only mastered the one-on-one, which is totally fine. But you have to understand who you're taking advice from and whether or not they have walked the path you are about to embark on. Super important. Third principle here that you need to understand, the third thing you need to know to build a successful coaching business is you need to have, and this is a mindset, you need to have an unlimited budget for education and coaching. I'm dead serious about this. I'm about to share something with you in a few moments that is the single biggest reason why I failed in business for the first 3 years of my business, okay? You need to be able to invest in books starting off. Like you can, if you've got a Kindle, if you don't have a Kindle, whatever, pay 10, 15, 20, 30 bucks to buy a book, okay? Even if you don't read the whole book, you get one idea from the book, it'll change some aspect of what you're doing. You can take someone's entire life or their domain of expertise and consume it in the space of a couple hours. It is a friggin' godsend that we have books to turn to. Books, everyone can access books. It's not a budget issue. It's a priority issue. If you want to sit on the couch and watch hours of Netflix, that's your choice, but don't complain about your results. Second is invest in courses. If you don't know something, someone else does. Invest in, at the very minimum, a course. Get a course on whatever area skill set you want to master, but understand you need to be super motivated to do the self-learning because most courses, 90% of them are not even completed. And if 90% of self-directed courses are not completed, just imagine what the success rate of those are. It's pretty minimal, which is why we as coaches love coaching because coaching produces results. So let me ask you this. Are you the client you want to attract? If you want to attract clients who actually invest in working with you, then you have to ask yourself this question. Who am I investing with as my coach? Interesting. Don't expect people to pay you money if you're not willing to pay money to hire a coach yourself. It's hypocritical. How can you coach people if you don't have a coach yourself? Doesn't make sense. It's the single biggest mistake I made in my life. I regret nothing in my life, but when I started my business in 2006, I went from 2006 to 2009 on poverty line income for 3 years because I was stubborn in thinking I could do this myself. It doesn't work. In 2010, I hired my first coach. And coaching is the inflection point in anyone's life or business. It produces accelerated results because you can learn from other people's mistakes. You can certainly make the mistakes yourself, but that's dumb. Why don't you pay someone else to accelerate your learning and learn from their mistakes? It's a much smarter path. You will never know it all, and you cannot succeed on your own. If you can tell me one top-level athlete who has made it to the top of their sport by themselves, please let me know in the comments. I have yet to find one, and I played professional soccer for a number of years. I didn't get there by myself. So to think that you, no matter what your expertise is, can achieve the pinnacle of success in your business by yourself is delusional. And if you think you can't hire a coach because of the money, it is more, just think of how expensive it's going to be not to hire a coach and spend years making mistakes. So those are the 3 things that I wanted to share with you about building a successful coaching business online. Now, if you're in the health space and you want a much better business model to attract clients literally on demand and very predictably without you creating content no one ever sees or spending all of your time on social media, and you want a better system for coaching them that doesn't rely on you trading time for money, then that's what we do. And we've got an amazing training called the Perfect Client Pipeline that'll walk you through exactly how it works. You can click the link in the description below and watch it today. Go ahead, do it now. I promise you it'll be the best use of your time. You're already here watching this. Just take the next step and watch that. It's more in depth. It'll give you everything you need to know. And you'll see tons of case studies from other clients of ours who've collectively generated more than $100 million using this very model. So that's what I'd like you to do. And while you're here, remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss any other videos we've got coming your way. Got lots of great stuff to help you grow a successful virtual health practice / coaching business. If you've enjoyed this, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.